Syndicated presents Shep and Sean, featuring Matt Shepard and Sean Baligian.
I don't think you can overstate this performance today, Shep. In an era where, and Lord knows we laugh at it all the time, that was unbelievable. This is incredible. That was great. That was fantastic. That was, I think it was Ben Verlander said it. That was a masterclass on pitching. I think it was Verlander. Maybe it was somebody else because I saw so many quotes. The Tigers put out like a quote sheet of people all over social media. It was phenomenal. 14 strikeouts, the second most by a left-handed pitcher in the postseason ever. What more can I add to that, Shep?
Yeah, Ben Verlander has usually got pretty good stuff as far as I'm concerned. Him saying, I told the Tigers to trade for my brother just gets a little old. So
I'm not going to argue that.
It drives me nuts. But yeah, he was spectacular. It might have been one of the best, if not the best pitching performances you and I have ever witnessed by someone who wears a Tigers uniform. So a few things that I loved most about it. One is where his pitch count was at that allowed AJ Hinch to push him to 107, because if he's at 80 in the sixth instead of 66 in the sixth, then it's a completely different thing. I love the fact that he got 7 of his strikeouts on changeups. I love the fact that his length in that game now allows AJ Hinch tomorrow to use every arm in his bullpen. Mm-hmm. I still think he can use Will Vest. Will Vest threw 15 pitches, 12 of them for strikes. I think he can use every arm in his bullpen. And if Casey Mize happens to get in trouble, and I hope he doesn't, but if he happens to get in any trouble, AJ Hinch can play for that win tomorrow by using everybody in his bullpen. So awesome stuff. Dude is now 5-1 on 6 days rest, and he is intimidating a force as there has been from the left side, maybe since Randy Johnson.
Hey, it's fantastic. There's no doubt about that. You take the first win. I saw a tweet from Tony Paul. Only 2 teams in this new wild card era have ever come back after losing the first game to win the game in 3 series. I thought that was amazing.
That's 8. So 18 of 20. Jason Beck put this out. 18 of 20 since they've gone to the new format. 18 of the 20 teams that have taken a 1-0 lead wound up winning the series.
Jeez.
11 of the 13 on the road. So,
jeez.
Yeah. So there you go. That's pretty impressive. Not that I'm putting a damper on things. But,
well, I was about to, so you go ahead and do it. So everybody won't call me a hater. They'll call you a hater.
Yeah. Well, they already do for some stupid reason. 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position is concerning.
Oh, 1,000%. You know what else is concerning? The same damn thing we talked about for 3 months. Who's our number 2? Right? I think Casey Mize deserves it. The way he's pitched down the stretch, I think there's absolutely. I'm not debating it, but look, you had to have a Herculean effort from Tarik Skubal today to win that game. All right. Mm-hmm. And that's my concern. I mean, this was otherworldly. This was all those pleasantries that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. And now we have to rely on Casey Mize. And I'm not saying he's going to go Skubal. That's not him. Okay. No. Yeah. And same thing with Jack, even good Jack. That's not him. But Shep, I in the interest of being fair, we literally had to have a Herculean effort today, and maybe a little bit of a bonehead move from Ramirez, leaning off third as far as he was to find a way to win that game. And so what I'm trying to say is, if people are counting out the Cleveland, I almost called them the Indians again, the Guardians right now, that's a scrappy, resilient bunch, man. I don't think the series is over by any stretch of the imagination.
I thought it would go 3.
Me too.
Hope I'm wrong, but I thought it would go 3 and the Tigers would win it. Couple things. One, Cleveland needed a Herculean effort from Gavin Williams too.
Sure did.
And lost.
Sure did.
And you and I've talked before, and I've told people this, postseason, you are getting 1s against 1s.
Yep.
You're not always getting that in in the regular season. And unless a series goes long and it creeps up on you in the next series, maybe you don't go 1-against-1, but usually it's 1-against-1. The other thing is that I don't think Ramirez made a mistake. That's just my opinion. I haven't read any Cleveland quotes since. But when you know the game is that finite in the ninth inning and you're going to do everything you possibly can, and you got a runner at third with nobody out and you get a strikeout, all right? And then you realize where you are in that lineup, you're going on contact. And that's what he did. He went on contact. Unfortunately for him, and fortunately for the Tigers, and went right back to Will Vest. If he doesn't go on contact, what if that ball goes just over the head of Will Vest like it did to Tarik Skubal earlier in the game?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't score in all likelihood. So, if he's going back or whatever, and it's a charge by Baez, I think it's the right play. I think you're going on contact, whatever you can, because remember, the infield was in. With the infield in, if you're not going on contact, you are not making it home. And you've got a strikeout pitcher on the mound, and you've seen nothing but gas since the last guy. I think it was the right play. I don't blame Jose Ramirez. I just think that's what you got to do as a baseball team to try and generate that tie-breaking run.
Fair enough. Let me get to some comments. Good evening, guys. Tom in London. Nice game by Skubal. He saves the arms in the pen for the next 2 days.
Yep.
My buddy Mark Buffet believe it's Skubal time. Hopefully both will be at next round.
Mark, there's only one. The problem with that, Mark, is there's only one Skubal. And he's pitching every fourth day, or fifth day, depending on what's going on. So it can be Skubal time all you want, but he's not pitching game 2 and he ain't pitching game 3. Now, you just beat with the team with their best pitcher on the mound. Tanner Bibee, he's a tough SOB.
Heck yeah.
But this is not Seattle, man. It's not like, well, George Kirby's done. Let's go with Logan Gilbert. Well, he's done. Let's go Luis Castillo. He's done. Let's go with Brian Wu. It's a little different story there, but I get why people are super excited about Skubal. I got to remind them, it's one freaking game. One game. The dude pitches one game.
This was my fear of the 3-game series, Shep. I said it. I'm sorry. I said it for months. A 5-game series, you can come back and potentially start him in game 4 or obviously game 5, depending on the necessity and everything. In a 3-game series, this was my biggest fear. I wanted to see them avoid this like the plague. They didn't. Here we are. That's the way it goes.
100%. And you know what, Sean? I didn't think of it that way. I'm glad you did bring it up. I mean, they did need the Herculean effort. Without that, where are they? Now, there's nothing you can't really do anything about it. Of course, he gave you the effort. Can you count on that every single time? It really is. It's to the point where people are just like, okay, we've got Skubal, everything's fine. And when you're going to throw Skubal, what happens if you face Garrett Crochet? What if you face Max Fried? Both guys have been tremendous so far in this game. And one of them is going to walk away, and they ain't going to win the game, man. So got to be careful. You need some runs.
You know how I am about 2013. I can't say it without going like this. That's the one that got away. Yep. Do you remember how unconscious Justin Verlander was? He was unconscious that he had a higher whip than higher ERA. I mean, it's insane. Like, and he made that one mistake to Mike Napoli. What was it? The 7th inning. One mistake that landed like 3 rows away from me, and I'm throwing my hat, having a temper tantrum, and I got my 12-year-old kid yelling at me, "Calm down, Dad!" It was a total role reversal and things like that. So that unfortunately is the reality of baseball. I want to get to something with you, the 9th inning, Shep, because I've heard a couple takes, and all I will say is you're right. And there's another one that I'm really intrigued to hear your opinion on that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. Mark said, will they get a hit with runners in scoring position with 2 outs again? I love Tigers threaten but do not score. It's one of my favorite old bits in the history of man.
Not me.
Push to 107. David Cohn would be just warm. Red Sox took a 2-1 lead. Skubal did what he had to do today from Michael. The offense didn't catch Shin as much as they could have. And held on.
Michael, that's the understatement. That's the understatement of the night. Understatement of the night.
Right. He brought it up. He brought up the Javi throw. Okay. I'm really, really interested to hear your take on this, Shep, because I think it was obviously a dash of Javi, a dash of torque. And I'll tell you what, the thing that drove me nuts is something. When I was coaching my kids' little league teams, you go back him up. And Dylan Dingler wasn't anywhere near backing him up. Nowhere near backing him up. It was a combination of all three things that just turned that play into a disaster.
Right. So what's supposed to happen is Dingler backs him up, pitcher covers home, just in case. So I don't disagree with that. I blame Javier Baez more than anybody else. First, I want to give credit to A.J. Hinch, George Lombard, because Lombard usually sets the defense. Give them more credit. Where Javier Baez was playing was spectacular, right? Right up the middle. Hell of a play. But probably had a little bit more time. Knows Ramirez has got decent speed. You can argue Torkelson's got to get off the bag there. Just a bad throw. And that's just the way it is in baseball. Whether people like it or not, you can pick your poison of which guy you don't like and blame him. But if the ball hits the dirt against from the pitcher to the catcher, it's a wild pitch. That ball's thrown poorly. Tork tried to make it, and those are tough things, man. When you're trying to get that tough short hop, that can be really difficult. A great fielding first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, Freddie Freeman, makes that play. He's not a great fielding first baseman.
Not at all. Okay? Not at all. Not at all. A couple more comments. If only our pitchers could have fielded in 2012. 2006 was the disaster.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
Where is this live? Bob said, where is this live other than on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube as well? Bail, base, backup, preach. That comes from Stevenson Bill. Yeah. Ball, base, backup, preach. That was the thing, Shep. I was screaming at the television, what are you doing? And give Dingler all the credit in the world. This kid has been a godsend to this team. Make no mistake about that. I know we all love Jake Rogers. He's a wonderful personality. He's got a funny mustache and everything. Dylan Dingler, thank you all day. Thanks for your services, Jake. And we all know what a horrible trade it was, and the franchise can't lie about it anymore. So we'll move on with our day. But Shep, that was a mistake. A mistake.
Yeah, and credit to Skubal for saying afterwards, one of the first things he said was Dylan Dingler was called a great game. So that's something that I think sometimes gets lost in it. It's kind of like the mental side of sports in general that gets lost or maybe overlooked. I'm glad Tarik Skubal gave him the credit. He was terrible at the plate, but he called a win, and that's the most important thing for a catcher.
Alan said, Shep talked about this earlier. Shep, I'm intrigued. I didn't hear it. I apologize. But Sean, who is your AL team and NL team for the World Series? Shep, I am not going against the Dodgers. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I can't do it. I have every reason not to pick them. I really do. I have every reason not to pick them, but I'm going to take the Dodgers. I'm going to go with Seattle. I think Seattle's finally going to punch that ticket. What a nothing franchise. I mean, they really have been. They've been a nothing franchise. Even that year, Shep, what was it? They had 119 wins or something. Yeah. To be so unceremoniously dumped by the Yankees that year was gross. But I'm going to go with the Mariners. How's that? Who you got?
I went with the Mariners as well. I love their lineup. I love the balance in their lineup. I love the power in their lineup. I love their defense up the middle. I think J.P. Crawford's really good at short. I think Polanco is really good at second. Rodriguez in center, Raleigh behind the dish. I love the middle of their field. I love their power with Raleigh, of course, and Rodriguez and Suarez and Naylor. And I love their starting pitching and their back end of the bullpen. So I went with Seattle, and I went with Philadelphia, even though Zach Wheeler is out. And that was tough for me because I think they have, along with Seattle and Toronto, I would say, the longest lineup in baseball.
And Dave Dombrowski's just a bad general manager, man.
Yeah, he's terrible. He doesn't know what to do at the trade deadline. Their starting pitching took a massive hit, but I love what Christopher Suarez has added. Sanchez. I mean, they've got some good arms there. So I've got Philly and Seattle.
All right. Obviously, your thoughts on this. Tigers had to have this one. There's no mistake about that. You have your ace on the mound. They went and got it. Okay. And again, if you look at numbers like that, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I like their chances when 18 out of 20 that take the first game end up winning the series eventually. And that's a pretty cool thing. I said 3. I'm sticking with 3. I'm sticking with 3.
Yeah, I'm sticking with 3 as well. They've been so close every single game seems like all year long. Detroit is now 5-2 in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty impressive. They love the atmosphere. Skubal's, what more can you say about him? But I don't think it's fair to any of us to gloss over what our biggest concern should be. Okay. It's great to get the win, but how many times are you going to be able to do that against a team moving forward? As great as Skubal was, some of those mistakes are swung through by Cleveland hitters. They are not by Yankee hitters. They are not by Seattle hitters. In all likelihood, they are not by Toronto hitters. So you're going to need more offense, okay? 2 runs ain't going to cut it. This is a team that's averaging 5 runs, roughly 5 runs per game until September hit. And when they went 7-17, it was down to about 2.5. And then they only scored 2. So I'm not going to look at a gift horse. It's just like you and I always talk about in football. I don't care how much you win by, 24 or 4. You're winning, good, move on. In this situation, this team has had a offensive pattern throughout the entire month of September, save 2 games in the Bronx, where they scored double digits in back-to-back games, where they have struggled to push runs home and even advance runners. Isn't it ironic, Sean, that the game-winning run comes in on the guy that you and I have already said he's the only guy on the team who can bunt?
Yep.
Maybe Parker Meadows.
Yep.
He's the only guy who can bunt, and that's how they got it home. Impressive, right? A.J. Hinch playing to his team's strength at the moment. The strength is power. That's what got him to the early lead. What won it for him today was a safety squeeze by Zach McKinstry. Impressive.
It absolutely impressive. No other way to say that. Let me take care of some business, and then obviously we will get some of your comments as well. Always appreciate you guys jumping in and being a part of this. This is what makes it fun. Let me tell you All About Catering. All About Catering, LLC, full service caterer, graduations, weddings, bridal showers. You want to have a stinking party for the playoffs. Anything you need catering for, from 25 to 4,000 people, Rick and his staff at All About Catering can and will take care of you. Customer service and satisfaction is their #1 goal. So don't sweat your next big event. Just go to allaboutcateringllc.com today to see their menus and all their 5-star reviews, or give them a call at 586-731-1398 to get your event started. Shep, did you see that crazy stat about the Tigers in the month of September at home, that the Braves had more wins at home and the Indians had more wins at Comerica Park than the Tigers did? I mean, it's so here.
The Braves had more wins at Comerica, not at home. At Comerica,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. At Comerica, I'm sorry if I didn't say that. I mean, that's so the Tigers had as many wins at Yankee Stadium in the month of September as they did at Comerica Park.
That's crazy.
So both. Maybe we shouldn't go to a game next week if the Tigers win this series. Maybe we should go on the road.
I'm not sure you guys have that much influence, but it's nice to think that way. The other surprising thing is that Skubal, you mentioned the 14 strikeouts, a career high for him.
Yeah.
The previous high was 13 against the Guardians.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So he seems to own them, and they probably never want to see him again. Of course, the good news is they'll never ever bid for him, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, Shep, I keep hearing, I don't know if you've heard the same thing. I keep hearing that there's going to be a concerted effort. We've all thought this aloud. Are you going to do it at the deadline? Are you just going to let it play out? I've heard that there's going to be a concerted effort to trade him in November. Number one, have you heard the same things, the same kind of buzz? Okay. And number two, is that the play in your mind?
Not for me. It's not. I guess this is the easy answer. It depends on what you can get for him.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. And what that would tell me, though, is that you'd be trading him to a very select number of teams, because I don't think a team, Sean, is going to trade for him and give the Tigers what they deserve without that team knowing they're going to be able to sign him.
Yes.
And I think that's going to be a really hard thing, because you and I both know, and you and I have talked about it, Boris is going to take his guy to free agency.
100%.
And you would too.
100%. John, my buddy in Windsor, said, who do you think the Jays will see on Saturday? I think the Red Sox win that series, Shep. I really do.
Oh, do you? Wow.
Yeah, I do.
I think the Yankees win it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could make the argument they're playing. This doesn't always equate to anything. You could make the argument they're playing the best ball of any team in baseball.
Down the stretch, no question.
1 week in a row, 9 of 10. They seem to have found themselves. That's a team that's had a lot of ups and downs this year. How many times was Aaron Boone rumored to be fired? I like New York. I don't know what's the score right now, Sean.
2-1 Sox.
2-1 Sox. Well, you could be dead on there, buddy. You could be dead on.
2-1 Sox.
Either way, I think the Jays beat whoever they play.
So do I.
And then I think it's the Jays in Seattle, not just because it's chalk, but because I think those are the two best teams playing right now in the American League.
I agree. Bill said at some point we need to play more small ball. 2 bunts today. A win is a win. Yeah. How many times have we seen this? And Shep, I've made this joke about Brian Cashman for 15 years. Shh. Nobody tells him that pitching always is their undoing. Don't tell him. And in this year, in fairness to him, it was injury, okay? But how many times? I mean, do you remember those series against the Tigers in particular? They were just running out of arms. Yeah. I mean, it really was weird. And the bats go cold in October. That's just a reality. Runs become at a premium. That's just a reality. And a lot of times you have to do a lot of those small things to find a way to scratch some runs across the plate.
Do you like small ball?
This time of year, yes. I can't stand it during the regular season. I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't think you can become somebody you're not. I think you are who you are. And the Tigers had 5 sacrifice hits all season. Why do you think they should start playing more small ball now? And I'm not saying you, Sean. I'm asking Bill.
Okay.
Why would they play more small ball now when they don't have the capability to do it? They just don't. I mean, they have the one guy. Answer me this, and you stop me when let's play a little game here. Stop me when you're ready to do it. Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna put the bunt sign on for these players. You ready? Dingler, Torkelson, Torres, Baez, Green, Carpenter, Parker Meadows?
Maybe. How's that?
Maybe Andy Ibanez.
Okay, maybe. Okay. And McKinstry, obviously.
Yeah, and McKinstry, obviously. It's not that many, bud.
No, there aren't.
And by the way, rarely are Ibanez and McKinstry in the game at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would be happy with what you got today. I would overall say, I'm not changing who I am. Okay, the situation may call for it, like it did today, with the right guy off the bench into the lineup.
That's exactly it. Bam.
But if it doesn't, I am not forcing it. If there's runners at first and second and nobody out, and you're worried about a double play, and Spencer Torkelson's at the plate, and you bunt him, you would be fired the next day or when your season is over by the general manager, and rightfully so.
Todd said, I'm asking them to get a Quan in the lineup that finds a way to get on base. Oh, is that guy? Jeez, oh, Pete. Yeah. Just hard. Jeez, oh, Pete.
Yeah, so Bill says they ain't hitting. Lay it down. Good song by Rat. Lay it down when you can. We need to get runners in, especially with runners on third and less than 2 outs. Can't go scoreless. Bill, we don't disagree with you. What makes you think if they're not hitting that they're suddenly going to hit because they bunt a guy over to second base? Or bunt a guy over to third base. This team struck out 19 times last week in a game. Okay? You hope they would get a sacrifice fly. Guess what? Dylan Dingler didn't do that. Did you think Dylan Dingler should bunt in that situation? This is not – I don't look at baseball similar to basketball. You know how the old cliche, Sean, is, well, if the ball's not going in the hoop, take it to the rack, either get to the free throw line, get a layup, and maybe that'll help you see the ball go through the rim and you get your confidence. I don't think that's the way it is with power hitters or guys who don't bunt at all in baseball. When's the last – you and I ripped Ben Johnson for throwing Jameson in the playoffs against Washington. Jameson Williams throws the pass. And you and I are both like, are you flipping kidding me? Had never thrown a pass, right, in the NFL. Why would you do it there, right? Why would you bunt Spencer Torkelson? Why would you bunt Riley Green? Why would you bunt Kerry Carpenter? That's not why they're in the lineup. They're in the lineup for their power. And if they don't come through, they don't come through. But they're not coming through on a bunt. Look at their statistics in their careers. They don't bunt. Not many of these guys on this team bunt at all.
Let me tell you, I want to get into some Lions stuff. Let me tell you first about the Wealth Advantage Group. They're located in historic downtown Northville, owned by those two handsome fellows right there. Two brothers, Mike Cusack, Jeff Cusack, with over 20 years of industry experience. And they understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. And that's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of your financial planning. Your family isn't in the same spot that his family's in, my family's in, theirs family in. And that's why they want to sit down and talk to you and find out exactly where you are and where you need to go. If you're saving for retirement, you want to sell a company, you're already in retirement, they can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients throughout all stages of life, and they have clients in over 20 different states. The investment world is a complex one, but if you are ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it's time to work with the experts. Reach out to my buddies, the Wealth Advantage Group, at 248-773-8374. Check out their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Shep,
how come you never do that in them there fellers? Them there fellers are good for you to do business with. How come you never do it in that voice anymore?
In the cars, what go in a circle? You know what? You know, Shep, the Lions game on Sunday reminded me so much of a couple games. It wasn't shock and awe. It wasn't, oh wow, look at all the pretty shiny things and everything. You just went out and beat the crap out of somebody, right? I was talking to Dan Miller about it. It reminded me of like the Indianapolis game. Nothing fancy. You just go beat the crap out of a team 24-6. The game out in the desert, same thing. What was it, 23-10 or whatever the heck it was? But this is how good this football team is. That wasn't an A effort. Nobody in that room would say that was an A effort. And you go and win the game by 24 points. And at no point in time, even after the Browns had that impressive first drive, I might add, was it 88 yards, 7-10? At no point in time was I going, oh no, they might come up and bite us. And that's one thing I think we've seen consistently out of this team the last couple of years. Maybe the only exception is when they went to Soldier Field in December and kind of pooed the bed 2 years ago. But other than that, when they play a team that they should beat, Shep, they don't just beat them, they take care of business.
I agree with you, man. They leave no doubt. They leave no rock unturned. I thought it was a complete game defensively. Really impressed with Kelvin Shepard and what he's done as a defensive coordinator. Derek Barnes' stepped up effort. Maybe we were all wrong. Maybe they do have guys who can get after the quarterback. Maybe they did need some of that cap space so they can go sign a cornerback in case somebody got hurt. Aiden Hutchinson has really stepped up over the last couple of weeks, and you see how he now is back to what we expected him to be. I was really impressed with their defense. Sure, they left points out there offensively. They said they left points out there offensively against Chicago as well. That's the beauty of what this team is. I'm with you. I think this is corny. It's a very professional team.
Oh,
I mean, they go about their business the right way. I love everything about the team. Isn't it interesting, Sean? Do you know who leads the NFL in scoring? The Lions.
Yeah.
You know who leads the NFL in sacks? The Lions. Man, those coordinators. I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
I have no idea. I'm with you. Listen, I'm a greedy son of a bitch, though. Okay. And I said this morning, all right? I am a greedy son of a bitch. Maybe, just maybe, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes knew what they were talking about. And Aiden Hutchinson is that much of an impact player. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I don't want another defensive end at trade deadline. I'm telling you, I'm a greedy son of a bitch.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay.
I understand that line of thinking. I'm not saying it's wrong, but remember, it was all, let's get those chips into the middle of the table of Zadarius Smith. Didn't play a lot last week. Didn't have any pressures. Didn't have any quarterback sacks for Philadelphia, but that's fine. I mean, I'm with you. I think there's a need for some help on the back end and some help at the defensive end position, but I'm not going to nitpick about what they're doing. I would consider them. Buffalo's probably there, although they got a scare last weekend from New Orleans. Philadelphia deserves a lot of credit for their comeback win against the Rams and then the win on the road last week in Tampa, who's, I think, a very good team. Detroit suddenly is back in there and in the discussion as a top 3 team in the National Football League, and rightfully so.
I love the schedule game. You know that. And out of one side of my mouth, I'll tell you, I love the schedule game. I would play the schedule game with you right now, Shep, but I'm afraid you'd hang up on me. But I love the schedule game. But out of the other side of my mouth, I always tell you what a horrendous waste of time it is. And I think when you look at the schedule forthcoming, hey, that Bengal game doesn't send a shiver down my spine like maybe it did before. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. They've been outscored 76-13 the last 2 weeks. So there's that.
It kills you when you lose one of the top quarterbacks in the world.
Shep, then the crazy thing is, a week ago I would have told you I'm not sweating the Chiefs too much, but now I am sweating the Chiefs again, and that's how stupid it is. And then you got the Bucs.
Although they got to play at Jacksonville next, and I said this to Braylon this afternoon. I wouldn't count it automatically that they're going to beat Jacksonville.
No. Hey, props to Jacksonville for going and doing what they did against Frisco, who has fraud written all over them, by the way. Let me just state that for the record. I'm going to stand on that. Yeah. They have fraud written all over them.
Yeah. And then after that, is it not
Buccaneers?
Yeah, Tampa.
Buccaneers before the bye. Yep. And then
that's not good. You're going to have to outscore that team.
No. Hey, listen, they came in and beat us last year. I mean, they did. And I know – our offense wasn't exactly firing on all cylinders. I remember that fourth quarter in particular, there was a whole bunch of moments because they had their opportunities deep in Tampa territory a couple times. I'll say it again, Shep. I have done a 180 on Baker Mayfield. I thought the guy was a douchebag. I thought the guy was the next Johnny Football. I like watching that guy play. He made an incredibly stupid throw against the Eagles that kind of thwarted the comeback and everything. But I really like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, again, I don't disagree with you, but this is who he is. So you're going to take the unbelievable, how did he do that, Baker Mayfield, that's going to end up with an unfortunate decision here or there. The funny thing is, who was open? Was it Chris Godwin who was open? Anyway, he was open. He just threw it behind him a little bit. I'm not saying it's the wrong play. It was a bad throw. You got to accept guys for who they are. Those are the guys who make plays, but when they don't, it's like you want to reel them in. I remember talking to Jim Caldwell in his office one time, and he's like, listen.
Did he know what time it was?
He did know what time it was. I apparently didn't because he had to move on. But he's like, you know what? You got to let Mustangs go. You can't reel them in, okay, and make them a quarter horse. So let him go. That's who he is. Somebody here says we're going to cut down on the strikeouts. They had 13 strikeouts today. I think there are only 4 teams who struck out more than Detroit this year. At some point, they are who they are. And do you think they're going to change in the playoffs when they've been like this all season long? My guess is no. Unfortunately.
I had so much fun. As a matter of fact, there's a real good chance if you tune into Woodward Sports tomorrow, you'll see the clip of Riley Green in just a perpetual state of shock when he was told that they struck out 19 times last week.
I saw that.
It's the greatest. Like, it's like when your kid does something dumb, what? Like it just complete shock on Riley Green. So we've been playing that clip just a little bit.
That's funny. That's good. That's really
Bill said, I'm all about playing for the big inning. This team has to do that when it can, but runs are at a premium lately. Not a fan of bunting, but when guys are grounding into double plays or striking out, give us a shot. Tarik, Green, Carp, Torres ain't bunting, but the other need to do whatever it takes. K's and double plays have killed us in all September. Hi, Jake Rogers. Shout out. 4 great at bats on Sunday. That was cool.
Yeah. Good thing they played it.
Hey, don't get me started on that. Kool-Aid said, hi, guys. Nice win today by Skubal. What 19 strikeouts? It's such a great clip. Like, it's such a great
like Tourette's. What?
Yeah, right. Rogers, by the way, in case you guys 2 grounded into double plays, 2 strikeouts on Sunday. That was cool.
Had a good day.
That was good. It was good. Thanks for playing. He's really funny though, Shep.
The good thing is he's a good guy. And he calls a good game. And everybody wants a mustache like that.
It's exactly it.
I don't know if you knew this. Stop me if you have. Clayton Kershaw and Matthew Stafford were friends.
I heard that somewhere.
I don't know if you know this. Stop me if you have. Tom Izzo and Steve Mariucci went to school together.
I don't, Shep, for the life of me, the nice guy thing, I don't. I had a conversation many, many years ago about one John Joseph Harrington with a certain columnist in town. And he thought that I was being too mean to him by calling him Joey Blue Skies. And he said to me, almost like a scolding father, and boy, it's really not like him. He said to me almost like a scolding father, I wouldn't be so quick to run such a good guy out of town. And I looked at him and I was like, are you serious? I'm like, Mother Teresa's a fucking saint. I don't want her to be my quarterback. Like what? Like what a dumb thing to say. Like, what?
Well, look.
What are you talking about?
How ironic. I read an article in one of the newspapers yesterday. 10 reasons why the Tigers are going to win. One of them was Brant Herter.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was Troy Melton.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two of the 10 reasons this writer wrote on why they're going to win. All the pressures on Cleveland. What? What are you talking about?
I don't know how you can say that, but that's okay.
I guess the Tigers had all the pressure last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland did to Detroit what Detroit did to teams last year in getting into playoff position. That's what's happened now. It's, hey, they're my friends. Feed me information. I love being part of this guy, and everybody recognizes it.
It's what it is. That's exactly what it. By the way, Tom just pointed this out. Garrett Crochet threw 117 pitches, Shep.
Yeah, Garrett Crochet is probably, I was going to say Max Fried because he's got 19 wins.
He threw 102. It's funny you say that. Fried threw 102 for the Yankees.
Yeah, they're the closest competitor to Tarik Skubal, who I think will win the Cy Young.
So
I don't know if it'll be unanimous, but I think he'll win the Cy Young. But those two guys are in the conversation.
Yeah.
They've had really, really good years. Skubal's just a different cat, man.
My shovel is sharp, my pick is sharp, and my will is outstanding. Tiger had bats the last month. Whatever to you. Oh, that guy, boy.
Now the question is the PR person behind him telling everybody, man, that's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. I told you not to let him ask questions. He's a bad guy. That's the question you got to ask yourself.
It's amazing. All right, Shep, anything else before we get out of here?
No, buddy, but have a great show tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun for you.
Yes, it is. I like talking about wins. Let's hope they knock off Cleveland. I'm not saying you can't undo what has been done because, Shep, we are going to hear about this for the rest of our lives. You know that, right? Just as sure as I'm sitting here, somebody always makes reference to the Red Sox blowing the series or the division in 1978. That's 47 years ago, okay?
Or the Yankees blowing a 3-0 series.
Amen. Well, we're going to hear about this for the rest of our days. And while I think I have many years ahead of me, I'm not so sure I have 47 years ahead of me. I got to be honest.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think we will hear for it. I don't think we will. If they reach the World Series, we won't hear about it.
Oh, well, that's a horse of different.
Yeah.
You know what would help, Shep? To slay the architect of your misery, the Cleveland Guardians, in their own building will definitely help that out.
How hard do they have to get for people to not bring it up?
I think the World Series. I do. I think the World Series. And that way, then it would become can you believe this? This is almost like 06, where, we lost the last 5 games, at 4 or 5 games, whatever it was, all those games at home. It was like, look who we're playing. It's a matter of what night it happens. And, then it becomes that, can you believe this? Anything can happen in October. Look at this team. Nobody thought that they had a chance. Shep, I always think back to that Yankees series. I remember doing the radio shows, and it wasn't a question of the Yankees winning that series. It was, do they win in 3 or 4 games?
Sure.
I mean, that was the big question heading into that series. It was so weird,
Yeah, and David's right. World Series for sure. I would agree 100% with David and you. Because if they lose in the ALCS, they lose to teams that made moves either at the trade deadline or in the offseason that you wanted.
Yep.
Bregman, for example, Freed, for example, Toronto bringing in guys like, not that people wanted Shane Bieber, but they made certain moves that made you say, why didn't my team do that?
Yep.
So,
no doubt.
And especially Seattle. If they lose to Seattle, because they're going to beat Cleveland. If they lose to Seattle and Seattle's gone out and said, you know what, we're getting Josh Naylor, we're getting Eugenio Suarez, a guy that the Tigers want, then what, right? So I think you're right. You got to make it to the World Series to avoid the topic that will never leave, and that is you didn't do enough.
Shep, can I ask you, this is a weird question. Make sure you check out Shep and Braylon, by the way. Do a great job, 2 to 4 every day on Woodward, okay? Did you ever pay attention when your kids, did they play the video games? Did they play the video games? Did they play like Mario Brothers or whatever?
All our kids to 1 hour a day of TV, video games, and computer.
Totally. So were you familiar with like Super Mario Brothers and all that?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I don't think my kids ever got into that.
Oh, okay. Well, there was a character. There was a character in Super Mario Brothers named Wario. Okay. And if you want to take a second, even Todd could do it. I want you, Josh Naylor and Wario.
Even Todd could do it.
Like Todd, I want you to look up. Are you familiar with Wario? Do the kids play like that stuff? I want you to find a picture of Wario and then find a picture of Josh Naylor. They are the same person. My kid calls him Wario, and I piss myself every time. And then he starts talking like Wario, and I'm like, stop. I've already urinated on the couch. You need to stop this right now.
Just flip that cover over, Sean. You'll be fine.
Unbelievable. All right, one last thing before we get out of here. When it's time to get yourself a house, whether you're buying, selling, or both, you need to contact the right agent. Who do you need to contact? You need to contact Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business, and when it's time to move, Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyer, seller, or even first-time buyer. Make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She'll help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. Okay, like seriously, this is your homework assignment. You all need to look up a picture of Wario and Josh Naylor. It's the same damn person.
I'll do it, Sean.
He plays baseball.
I'll do it, and we'll talk about it next week, brother.
All right. Nice to see you, Shep. Make sure you check out Shep not only in the morning, but certainly with Braylon as well, and I'll talk to you in the morning. See you later. Bye-bye.
Good, brother.
Shep and Sean, featuring Matt Shepard and Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Still Alive by Anti-Ghost. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.